Talk Bomb.
Welcome, traveler.
You've just stumbled across Studio Rejects. We have not existed in... Boy, when was the last time? Last time that you guys
a year?
Had a new episode of Studio Rejects. It was definitely 2016. And it was about...
say a year.
It was about the X-Men. It was almost a year. July... No.
Oh,
May.
yeah.
May. It's been almost a year.
May.
Studio Rejects has been gone. So
we never finished X-Men, did we?
No, if you've been waiting for that X-Men finale, I've got horrible news. It's not happening.
It's here.
Yeah, this is it, sure. Hello, I'm Will.
I'm Bobby.
And we're going to do something real weird. And honestly, Studio Rejects is the perfect place to do it for a couple of reasons. Studio Rejects was a show that we started with reading what we thought was the original script for Scream 3. Then we read a couple of versions, fanfic versions of where they should go with Scream 5, if they ever made it. 5 Cream.
Right, 5 Cream.
But of course...
Did we read Scram 6?
That never came to pass. We may have read Scram 6, I don't know. And so today we're going to read a script that I wrote that I guess is technically fanfic, but I'm not going to treat it that way. MTV has a TV version of Scream that they've done, and they've announced that they're going to be rebooting and starting from scratch. So I immediately stopped everything and started writing, and the result is a short 6-page opening kill for how I would reboot Scream. This is just the feel and my writing sample, basically, and it culminates in a 1-page overview of my thought process and where the show would go from here.
First of all, I see the names. I don't like them.
I know. I'm
Dad?
sorry. Unacceptable. If you want to read along, go to www.thehauntedSponge.com/scream. You'll see a short video that I did, literally less than 3 minutes, where I give you sort of my thought process, and you'll see links to actually read this very script. If you enjoy it, I implore you, share. I'm actually trying to get the attention of MTV. I feel like it will not happen, but that's just because... Why would it? But
Sure,
frankly,
sounds great.
I'm being impulsive, and let's do this.
All right, fade in. Interior, Megan's bedroom. Megan, whoever that is lying on her bed, watching a true crime network, The Murder Channel. What?
Oh.
On her phone.
Uh-oh.
True crime network, The Murder Channel, on her phone while browsing Facebook on her laptop.
You got the TV host here.
High school is meant to be the happiest time of your life, but sometimes high school is the place where your life ends.
Suddenly, the sound on the phone is replaced by a ringtone. Dad. Now, this is a text.
Time for bed.
Megan sighs in frustration
Beep, 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 beep,
and
beep,
swipes the message away, hitting play on the TV show.
I forget what that voice sounded like.
Tiffany hoped to find herself in drama club. Instead, she found a knife in her chest, baby.
Again, the audio from the show is interrupted, this time by a phone call. Annoyed, Megan grabs her phone and stares at the screen to see who's interrupting her show. Unknown. For a moment, Megan's thumb hovers over the answer button, but she changes her mind and declines the call. This time, instead of playing her show, she texts her friend, Alex. You up?
Yeah.
That's Megan and Alex. So, she was going to get a call from unknown. That was Ghostface. But nobody answers phone calls anymore, so she declined it. Especially
I don't like her dad texts her. That's a bad dad. He's not a good dad.
I call that out, baby. Megan calls Alex on FaceTime. Alex comes into view. Oh, no. She was obviously on the brink of falling asleep, curled up in bed. What are you going to wear tomorrow?
I don't know. Nothing special. Why?
You realize we might be on camera, right?
Alex laughs over the phone.
Well, seriously, what if we end up in a shot? We could be on TV.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll come interview us. You'll probably end up getting your own reality show.
I mean, what if we're in the background somewhere, jerk? They're definitely going to film at school.
I guess so. They'll probably want to film where the principal was murdered.
Oh my God, you're right. I hope they interview students. I really want to be on TMC.
The Murder Channel.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought Turner Movie Classics? Isn't that an old-timey... Isn't that an old-timey movie show?
Yeah. Wow. Yes, it is.
Like, what?
You are...
I really want to be on the country music channel. What the fuck are you talking?
Oh, no, you're right. Fantastic. I'm keeping it.
I'm sure they'll want to interview a horror dork like you. Wait, where'd it go?
It was right there. That's fine.
Shut up. I don't like horror movies. I watch the Murder Channel.
So that explains it, at least. It's not Turner Movie Classics or whatever.
There's a difference.
Sure there is.
There is. My shows are real.
Oh, I'm aware. That's why they're scrambling to come to town.
Suddenly, with a short knock, Megan's dad pops into the room. Startled, she turns.
It's the same voice I was using.
Yeah.
Isn't it a little late to be on the phone, baby?
Isn't it a little lazy to text me from inside the house?
Megan's dad mouths the words, "Go to bed," as he leaves, closing the door behind him.
My dad is being so weird today.
It's not just him. It seems like everyone in town is on edge right now, baby.
They should be happy. The only exciting thing that ever happened in this town was the murders.
Oh, yeah, we're all very proud of that.
Although I guess...
I gotta stop doing this voice.
What the fuck?
I don't know, it's scrolling all weird for some reason. Although I guess being a little nervous, you never know if another psycho is going to try to celebrate the anniversary again. Alright, I better actually get some sleep.
I'll see you tomorrow, baby.
Bye. Yeah, bye.
You gotta add more babies in here, Bill.
Yeah, I screwed
Gotta
up.
tell you, you gotta put way more
I
babies.
screwed up. Megan hangs up and switches back to her true crime show.
Next on the Murder Channel. What? The Murder Channel. What happens when a man saws his girlfriend's head off? All the way off. What could possibly happen?
Megan flops back on her bed and eventually drifts off to the sound of the Murder Channel playing in the background.
What happens when a man saws his girlfriend's head off?
When I originally wrote that line, it was, what happens when a man saws off his girlfriend's head off?
Well, what could possibly happen? A man saws off his girlfriend's head all the way off.
Fade 2, the room is now dark. We can just make out the shape of Megan asleep in bed when suddenly she's lit by the screen of her phone. Squinting it from the, that's based on a true story. Allie falls asleep listening to Investigation Discovery all the time, yeah. She's lit by the screen of her phone. Squinting from the brightness, she picks it up. It's a text from Dad.
Come to the living room.
Texting back, are you kidding me? I was finally asleep.
Megan waits for a reply. Instead, her message is simply marked as read. Ooh, I guess she has an iPhone, huh?
Fine.
Apple, you're an Apple cuck. Megan groggily rolls off the bed, heads out into the hall and down the stairs. The house is dark and silent.
What do you want, Dad? Why are you sitting in the dark like a weirdo?
Megan flicks on the light switch on, and the room is a mess. Bookcases have been knocked over, drawers have been ripped out of cabinets and thrown around the room.
Dad? What happened? Where are you? Another text.
I'm upstairs.
Megan looks at her phone in confusion and disbelief, shouting up the stairs, Dad? What are you doing? What's going on?
I'm upstairs.
Megan seems at a loss of what to do. After a beat, she starts to head up the stairs while dialing 911 on her phone. She comes to her father's closed bedroom door. She hovers with her thumb over the dial button.
Daddy?
Ready.
Oh, sorry.
Daddy. That's her voice now.
Dad in a text.
Come on in.
Megan reaches for the knob with her free hand. She pushes the door open, revealing the room only dimly lit by the TV. Another text.
Turn on the lights.
Almost robotically, Megan flicks the lights on. Her dad is hung from a rafter in the center of the room. He's been stabbed countless times.
Countless time.
Blood drips from his wounds, creating a puddle beneath him. The room is trashed. His closet hangs open. The mattress has been flipped. Megan is too terrified to move. She just stares, frozen in horror. After a moment, a figure rises from behind the bed, mostly obscured by the hanging corpse, knife in hand. Megan runs down the stairs, out the front door. She sprints, fumbling with her phone to call the police. As she runs down the street, we see the dark figure burst out of the front door and fly after her. We cut to two teenagers standing underneath a tree in a small park, smoking.
Ooh,
hearing
not
Megan's...
good. Nope. You know, I don't like smoking teenagers, so let's not
No.
take it out.
All right, fine, it's gone. When you guys read this, it definitely won't
Scratch that from the,
be. Right.
we'll edit that out.
Fine. Hearing Megan's screams, they turn to see what's happening, running toward the source of the commotion. They each take out their cell phones, one to call the police, the other to film the attack. We cut to Megan running as fast as she can, panting into the phone. 911 operator.
Ma'am, I can't quite hear you. I'm gonna dispatch an officer to your location.
Megan, running, out of breath. He killed my dad.
The teenagers continue to film as the attacker finally catches up to Megan, tickling her. Tackling her behind a car.
That's tickling. You were right the first time.
We can only hear as the man grunts and stabs Megan a bunch of times.
Camera kid shouting.
I'm recording. You hear me? I got you.
The killer, with his back turned, stands up behind the car. It's too dark to see him. His entire body is in shadow. They can just barely make out where he's standing.
I dare you just try and run. The cops are on their way, bucko. I got you on a video.
The figure gives no reaction. Megan's blood begins to spread. A thin river of red creeps into the middle of the road. Suddenly the figure throws something out into the street and fades away in the dark, leaving. Camera kid walks forward, ignoring the cop cars as they arrive. Megan's blood trickles toward the discarded thing in the street, which seems to glow from the lights of the police cars. Finally, he points his camera down as the blood pools beneath the bone-white mask of Ghostface.
Threw his mask off?
Title card.
Scram.
So, what do you think of that?
What was with all the, when she walked downstairs, what was with all the shit being destroyed?
Well, I can tell you right now, because this may never, ever, ever be produced or become anything. There is a person in town who is being Ghostface. Mm-hmm. There is so much attention, of people coming to Woodsboro because they're either fans of the Stab movies, which were the in-universe movies made of the massacre, or there are true crime, like fanatics, who are coming to Woodsboro because they want to just see the actual locales where Ghostface, preyed on his victims. In all of the 4 Scream movies, at some point, a character films events. In Scream 1, Gale Weathers hides a camera at a party. In Scream 2, the killer is actually filming him stalking his victims. In Scream 3, we find out that there was a guy that was, who set up all the events. It's really over the top, but he was stalking Sidney Prescott's mother years ago. Mm-hmm. And then in Scream 4, those killers were filming the actual murders, the actual stabbings. So this person
also,
in town,
I know all the tricks.
This person in town is collecting all of this murderabilia. Murderabilia is a real, true thing that happens now, where people, this is Ted Bundy's notebook. Mm-hmm. I have it. Somebody in town is getting all these things, and there are people in town that have this stuff. Mm-hmm. So that's why the house was ransacked.
I would just think you'd think she would wake up if she heard all the.
She fell asleep listening to the Murder Channel. It's the same thing.
What do you mean?
She's listening to a show where people are being stalked and killed and screaming, and in the house there's the sound of chaos.
Okay, I would say you got to set that up.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true, but that is my explanation at least.
Gotcha. Okay, cool.
And then what
I just don't care about Scream.
Fair enough.
Just don't care about.
Well, but divorce yourself from Scream. I'm trying to play in here with a couple of horror trope kind of things. She already calls out that her dad is texting her from inside the house. She makes fun of him for being lazy.
I didn't. He texts her a lot.
He texts her once. Oh, you mean the killer?
The killer.
Yeah.
But how are you because that's also tough.
She ignored a call from. If she had answered that phone call, I did it almost as there's a 2 universe.
She should ignore it. Yeah,
she should ignore that phone call. Anyone would. If you get a phone call from unknown, most people they don't even bother. They just hang up. Yeah. Ghostface can't stalk you that way in 2017. It's just not happening.
Yeah.
If she had answered that phone call, there would have been somebody on the other side going "Hello, what are you watching?"
I know. What I'm saying is that come to the living room. Fine. Where is it? I'm upstairs. Come in. Turn on the lights. It just seems like a lot.
Well, I want there to be some interaction, though. I don't want it to just be her walking around. I want it to be known that there is somebody who is watching what she is doing, who is nearby. This text could be coming from anywhere. We already know, because we understand horror. Her father's probably dead. Right? So, I'm upstairs. Dad, what are you doing? I'm upstairs. I just want to be he's kind of impatient. He wants her to just come on, I'm upstairs. Get up here. And then come in. He knows that she's at the door, so he's somewhere nearby. Cool. Turn on the lights. He knows that she hasn't done it yet. He's in the shadows. He's watching. I just want that to be communicated, that he is nearby and he's aware of everything that she is doing.
Gotcha.
And then, when I'm playing with some elements. This is something that I'm broadly saying I am rebooting Scream. Mm-hmm. So that I'm going to write Ghostface shit. But this, for rebooting the series, would be the sort of, for an average viewer, if this just came out without me talking about constantly how I'm doing this, I would want them to wonder, okay, are they rebooting Scream in a way that's similar to seasons 1 and 2 where they didn't have Ghostface? So that's why it's a dark figure that stands up partially obscured. You just see the knife in his hand. That's why he's just running behind her. That's why he has his back to the kids. It also is not only just playing with the audience's expectation, is it going to be Ghostface or that other killer from seasons 1 and 2? He's taking off his mask and throwing it in the street because he is kind of on a PR campaign a little bit, saying, I'm back. Ghostface is back, and I am, be afraid because I've returned.
Gotcha. I don't know. You have to be careful because, like all the Scream movies, always had a very bleak view of youth. Where
I agree.
People are constantly
They're cynical.
Yeah, it's super, super cynical, and it's not realistic at all. You know, the first one was like the most realistic, and even then it had super obnoxious characters that you hate because it's a horror movie, you know? But, I think that especially as it went on with all the stab movies and shit, like people openly mocking, like calling a woman that's the victim of 4 murders.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like people don't really do that. Maybe on Twitter they would say shit.
They
but
do.
Like,
my script. This is because not only. I mean, again, divorce yourself from the fact that this is me writing Scream, which is just a franchise that I really like. These are my actual feelings about where society has kind of gone a little bit.
Oh, that's such a bleak view of it. I guess that ties into all this shit.
I completely agree. Are you aware of the Missing Richard Simmons podcast?
Yeah. It's horrible.
Yeah. And that is...
No, the podcast itself is really
did you
bad.
listen to it?
Yeah, it's horrible.
I have not even listened to it.
It's a 20-minute long podcast, 8 minutes of which are ads.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, and Richard Simmons isn't missing. He doesn't want all the fucking bullshit.
Yes.
He doesn't want people talking to him. Like, he
However,
doesn't owe you anything. Stop going to his house.
It was dressed up in this internet rumor that he is being held hostage in his home by his nurse, and that he is unwell, and that he's in danger somehow. And it really...
It's like a grab for money.
I completely agree, but it rocketed to the top of iTunes. It was the number one podcast for the entire time that it was on. It's gone now because finally Richard Simmons' agent came out and said, hey, he doesn't want to be found.
I mean, from the start of the show, though.
He's not missing, by the way. He doesn't want to be found by you.
That's what the show was, though. From the start of the show, it was like Richard Simmons stopped showing up.
Right.
And he's just kind of reclusive now, and that we're going to try and invade his privacy.
Yes.
But it was just like, you guys don't need to do this.
I completely agree. And my point is, this happens. My script happens. People really do. It does. Oh, I mean, not with murder. There's the exaggerated element because it's a horror story.
Right.
But, there are people who, Allie and I just read an article about the town that Twin Peaks is based on. There are still, weekend detectives that come to town to dig around for clues.
Oh, yeah.
People are motivated. People really take this stuff seriously.
It's so weird, man.
Yeah. After the Blair Witch came out, the town of Burkittsville, Maryland, there was just a swarm of people flocking there to interview people and ask about the real events that actually happened. There was no Blair Witch. It was a totally fictional thing created for the movie. People take this stuff very, very seriously. And in my story, somebody is taking it so seriously that they're taking it too far.
I like that
One of the
angle.
pitches of Scream was somebody's taking their love of scary movies too far. Mine would basically be somebody's taking their love of true crime too far.
I do like that idea. I think what I'm trying to say is that, like, if you make your characters likable and then they die, it's like actually a sad thing.
Yeah.
Like, but if you make your characters all people I want to kill anyway, like, I don't, great.
I agree.
Like, you know what I mean? Like Scream 4.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
All
Yeah.
those people should have died in that movie.
I don't know that they should have died, but they didn't treat...
No, they should have.
They didn't treat...
I hated all of them.
Fair enough. They didn't treat they didn't treat what was happening with any degree of, like, respect or seriousness.
Yeah.
Literally, at one point, a kid stabbed in the stomach and makes a joke. A guy gets stabbed in the head and stumbles around and says, fuck Bruce Willis before he dies. The perfect comic timing moment. I completely agree.
Why aren't you terrified of
These things should feel real. And in this script, it's just a brief snapshot. I'm not really letting you know who Megan is. I give you a little bit of idea that she
Right, but
loves
that
the
was-
true crime stuff.
That was like the first movie, the Drew Barrymore thing.
Yeah, you don't really get to know them very well. But I really feel like I genuinely have something to communicate about this topic. Scream is the perfect channel to communicate these thoughts. If this does not work, if my, Hail Mary Gambit campaign of being able to do this does not pay off, I still feel this way, and I still feel like this is a story that has something to say.
I really have two notes.
Yes.
Then. One, make the town named Regalia
You got it.
Hill.
You got it. Hope everybody listened to Will and Bobby know everything. If you're here, you did. So.
Change the name to Regalia. And
I didn't mention the king
actually
of town.
change the whole name to Regalia.
Okay.
And then parentheses, the Revenge of the King in Town. The king the king is back in town.
Revenge of the King in Town.
The King is back in town is what it's called.
Okay.
And then also at one point you should have a guy, Sean Wayans, comes in and a penis stabs him in the ear.
Finally, a true vision of terror.
I knew it all along. So
wait,
what about this guy?
Well, do you have any interest in looking at my my overview page? I think we pretty much covered what I say in it.
Right.
Frankly.
The plot?
Yeah, the plot. Yeah, and then this is pretty much everything I
discovery.
said. Why everybody's obsessed with true crime now, as much as horror.
Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, but yeah, that is also there at hauntedsponge.com/scream. You can read my script, you can watch my video, and you can read my treatment. But
So now we move to Jones. And then in parentheses, the king is back in town.
yeah, of course, that's just always the subtitle that we use.
Yeah.
So they announced that they were going to be making a fifth Indiana Jones movie. They announced it
Grittier and darker.
They announced it by saying the release date, which I thought was weird. Like being like, that's when it's coming. There's no shooting information. From what I can tell, they may not know about a script yet, but they're coming out on this day. And I think the same weekend, Logan came out. It was like a smash hit. It was like the critics' darling, like the gritty R-rated reboot, like really worked for them. So I figured, well, then maybe Disney should pay attention and learn a lesson or two. So I wrote my take for Jones.
So, fade in, jungle, day. The sun hangs high in the sky and the camera cranes down through palm leaves, lowering down past branches spotted with tropical birds until we hit the ground, and a foot steps into frame. We pan across the shadow, revealing the shape of a famous fedora of Indiana Jones. But something is wrong. Jones's shadow isn't just falling behind him, it's impossibly landing on the horizon?
Yep, because we dissolved two, it's actually he's in a museum. Indiana Jones is standing in a museum display of a jungle, rubbing his chin in thought as he stares intently at a replica of an ancient statue, and more specifically, the diamond in its mouth. People watch in confusion. A security guard comes running into the scene.
Sir, I need you to... It's Paul Blart, by the way.
Okay.
Sir, I need you to step out of the display immediately.
Jones turns slowly.
Fuck you.
Without another word, Indiana Jones reaches for his whip, and with a crack he wraps it around the security guard's neck. Jones pockets the diamond from the statue's mouth and steps out of the diorama. He approaches the security guard and grabs the gun from his holster.
This belongs in a museum.
Security guard choking, confused.
This is a museum!
The double doors at the end of the exhibit burst open as a team of ninjas swarm in, doing backflips.
I'm getting too old for this shit, baby.
Indiana Jones shows off his classic berserker rage and murders everyone in the room, even the people who aren't ninjas. He's covered head to toe in blood. Smash cut. Jones. And that's how I'd reboot Indiana Jones. So I think I've done a lot of good work. How do you feel about that script?
Good. Good.
All right, cool. So that's Studio Rejects for 2017. Thank you guys so much for listening. Welcome back and goodbye. Please go to
I'm getting too old for this shit.
www.thehauntedSponge.com just for my weird stuff in general, and specifically hauntedsponge.com/scream for my actual genuine take on how I would do
damn.
this. Oh boy. So,
Thank you guys for
Thanks,
listening.
guys.
Maybe we'll have another one at some point in the next year.
Yeah, I'll see you in 2018, I bet, probably. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Hey guys, do you like TalkBomb? We could really use your support. Please go to patreon.com/TalkBomb where you can donate to us monthly. In doing so, you will get for yourself a bunch of bonus shows just as a thank you.
You can also find us on all social media accounts under the username TalkBomb. So that's Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat. Following us online is a great way for you to stay up to date on what we're working on for TalkBomb.
One of the best things you can do for our network is to review this show on iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever platform you listen to us on. Positive reviews help us grow and help new listeners find us.
But more than anything, thank you for listening to the show. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you at TalkBomb.com.